The McBee dynasty. Real American Cowboys Steven McBee Jr. is pumping the brakes on past claims that the family sold their iconic Nashville home. And, according to younger brother Cole McBee, Dad ain't very happy about this one. The eldest of the McBees said it was a case of don't count your chickens before they hatch that caused him to prematurely announce the sale of the $1.5 million bachelor pad in Tennessee. As he explained to Cole on the October 7 episode of the Meet the McBees podcast, the whole family was a little mad, and rightfully so. That's because Steven Jr. screwed up the sale of the home thanks to what he said on the August 20 episode of the So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey podcast. Explained Steven, I went on a podcast, this was about a month and a half ago. Everyone was asking me about Nashville, and they're like, well, do you guys have any plans to go down to Nashville soon? And I was like, actually, we just sold our house. And I said, sold in the past tense. I thought the deal was done. It had gone through everything. Cole argued that what Steven Jr. meant to say was that he was done with Nashville, even though he was headed back soon after the McBee podcast episode aired. Continued Steven, the house was 2 days away from actually closing. Well, that interview comes out. It threw the potential buyers up in arms whenever I said we're not going back to Nashville. I don't know what it was, they backed out. Dad called me, he was not very happy. The McBees' iconic Nashville home is back on sale. Steven McBee Sr. might have been unhappy with his son's public declaration, but a listing for the 4-bedroom, 4.5-bathroom luxury home is back on Realtor for $1,579,900. It has served as the backdrop for the McBees' wild parties and set the stage for many of the men's memorable on-screen adventures, including youngest brother Braden McBee bringing his exploits back to the house and the mystery over who smashed the men's car windows. It was also where Steven Sr. made his season 2 debut amid his legal troubles. In the August interview in which Steven Jr. incorrectly stated the house had sold, he said, we decided that Nashville was not the place for us anymore. We get in too much trouble when we go down there. Steven Jr. and Cole McBee announce bittersweet career news. Back in Gallatin, Missouri, Steven Jr. and Cole teased big news in their ever-expanding careers, promising to share more in the coming weeks. The cliffhanger came days after federal prosecutors filed a sentencing memorandum requesting Steven Sr. serve 41 months in prison for his crop insurance fraud conviction. I think it's going to be a little bit bittersweet whenever we announce this, but we'll announce it here over the next couple of weeks. Steven said on Meet the McBees, it's exciting for Cole and I. This is what Cole and I have been talking about for the last year. Added Cole, we've all been working on this one goal, and we've accomplished a lot this year. Like, so much, it's crazy. There's a saying out in the country, you can take the cowboy out of the ranch, but you can't take the ranch out of the cowboy. For the McBee family, America's favorite modern cowboys, that saying couldn't be more true. Because when you blend Missouri grit with Nashville glitz, and then add a dash of family drama, things are bound to go haywire. And this time, it was Steven McBee Jr. who accidentally roped himself, and his entire family, into a storm bigger than a Missouri tornado. The house that built the McBees. For years, the McBee family's Nashville home had been more than just an address. It was a symbol, a sprawling 4-bedroom, 4.5-bath monument to their rise from humble Missouri roots to reality TV fame. The walls had seen everything. Wild nights, heartfelt family talks, and more than a few heated arguments. So when Steven Jr., the eldest McBee son and natural leader of the family's next generation, casually dropped a bombshell on a podcast, saying the family had sold the house, fans went wild. Nashville? Gone? The McBees leaving Music City behind? For a brief moment, it seemed like the end of an era. But there was one small problem. They hadn't actually sold it. Don't count your chickens? On the October 7 episode of Meet the McBees, Steven Jr. had some explaining to do. Sitting across from his brother Cole, he looked like a cowboy caught in the headlights. "I went on a podcast, this was about a month and a half ago," Steven began, rubbing his hands together. "Everyone was asking about Nashville, and I said, actually, we just sold our house. I said sold in the past tense. I thought the deal was done." Cole couldn't help but laugh, but there was a sting in his voice. What he meant, Cole interjected, was that we were done with Nashville, not that we were done selling Nashville. What happened next sounded like a scene straight out of a country song. The interview dropped. Fans started talking. The potential buyers got spooked. And just like that, the deal fell apart. "I don't know what it was," Steven Jr. said, shaking his head. "They backed out. Dad called me. He was not very happy." Cole leaned back in his chair with a knowing grin. "Dad ain't very happy about this one," he said, with that trademark McBee mix of mischief and understatement. A $1.5 million misunderstanding. Turns out, the McBee mansion wasn't gone after all. The listing popped right back up on Realtor.com, this time priced at $1,579,900, a little more than before, maybe to make up for all the drama. The property has become somewhat legendary among fans of the McBee dynasty, real American cowboys. It's where Braden, the youngest of the bunch, brought home a few wild adventures from his nights out, and where mystery still lingers about who smashed the car windows one infamous evening. It's also where Steven Sr., the patriarch and original McBee maverick, made his dramatic Season 2 debut amid a swirl of legal troubles. So yes, it's safe to say that House has seen a lot, maybe even too much. As Steven Jr. admitted during the August interview that started all this, "We decided Nashville was not the place for us anymore. We get in too much trouble when we go down there." Back to the heartland. Now back in Gallatin, Missouri, the McBees are trading skyline views for wide-open skies. And while the family might be facing their fair share of challenges, including Steven Sr.'s looming 41-month prison recommendation for crop insurance fraud, the brothers seem determined to turn chaos into opportunity. In fact, Steven Jr. and Cole recently teased what they called a bittersweet career announcement, promising to reveal more in the coming weeks. "I think it's going to be a little bit bittersweet whenever we announce this," Steven shared on Meet the McBees. "It's exciting for Cole and I. This is what we've been talking about for the last year." Cole nodded, his voice softening with genuine pride. "We've all been working on this one goal, and we've accomplished a lot this year. Like so much, it's crazy." Whatever the project is, one thing is clear. These two brothers are determined to carry on the McBee legacy, even as the family's future hangs in the balance. The shadow of the patriarch. Behind every McBee headline, there's the undeniable presence of their father, Steven Sr., a man whose charm, ambition, and troublemaking streak have defined the family both on and off screen. Once the heart of their Missouri cattle empire, Steven Sr. is now facing the toughest chapter of his life. Federal prosecutors have requested that he serve nearly 3.5 years in prison for a crop insurance fraud conviction, a case that has put immense pressure on his sons to protect the family name and business. And yet, even in the midst of legal battles and media noise, the McBees remain unapologetically themselves, loud, loyal, and fiercely family first. As Cole once said, "You can't fake being a McBee. You either ride or you don't." The next ride. Whether it's the family's Nashville drama, their father's court case, or the brothers' upcoming announcement, one thing's for sure, the McBees are far from finished. They've stumbled, sure. Steven Jr. might have said a few words too soon. But that's the McBee way. Act first, think later, and deal with the fallout like cowboys do, with grit, humor, and maybe a beer in hand. And as their iconic Nashville home waits for the right buyer, its walls echo with laughter, chaos, and a bit of regret. Somewhere, a for sale sign sways in the Tennessee wind. A silent reminder that even cowboys can make mistakes. But like every good rodeo, what matters most is how you get back on the horse. Epilogue: Lessons from the McBees. In a world obsessed with perfection, the McBees stand out because they're real. They fight, they fall, and they own up to it. Steven Jr.'s slip-up may have cost them a sale, but it reminded everyone why fans fell in love with the McBee family in the first place. They're flawed, funny, and fiercely loyal to each other. So whether the Nashville house sells next week or next year, one thing's certain: the dynasty continues. Because for the McBees, life isn't about the house you live in. It's about the home you build, one wild, unpredictable, unforgettable story at a time. We mess up, we make up, and we move forward, Steven Jr. said with a smile at the end of the podcast. That's just the McBee way. And with that, the cowboy saga rolls on, a little wiser, a little humbler, and a whole lot more interesting.